Hello, welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at one of the hardest hitting Pokemon for the Fossil Cup. It is going to be the Shadow Magnezone. Having access to that Shadow Wild Charge is going to be quite a weapon for this meta. And today we're going to have here a very solid team around it. Of course, we're going to have weakness against those ground type Pokemon as well as those fighting type Pokemon. And what better to use with it than, of course, our Pokemon in the back here, the Jellicent. It's a perfect core. And then also, as I'll say so, the Poliwrath is nearly perfect with this Pokemon as well. I feel like this team is one of the best ones that you can run right now as well. This team was a lot of fun to run. You're going to see a lot of nice wins here. And I have to say, I didn't play all the battles correctly either. Like, there's definitely going to be one or two battles where I'm like, why do I do this? But it is what it is. Honestly, currently, there's not really a lot of pressure. The game itself, I have to say, feels a little bit better. Like, not saying that it's perfect or anything like this. It is still very laggy, but it's not as frustrating as it was before. Not saying that's a great state right now, like not saying that's like perfect. I still had a lot of lag and stuff like this, but I feel like it's a tiny bit better right now. But also, what is a tiny bit better is we're going to be able to get this Magnezone up against the opponent's Lantern. This is going to be quite important because it's our best answer for this Pokemon. And here, our backline is going to be weak to the Lantern. Our lead is kind of neutral against Lantern. It kind of usually wins with a lead against Lantern though. But the cool thing is actually about Dynamic Punch on this meta. It just gives you more play against Lantern as well if you use it as Say-Stop. Next opponent, I'm fairly certain I have this play actually on my friend list as well, so let's take a look at this one. We're going to see the Sandslash here against us. We're going to swap out into our Poliwrath, trying to get some damage onto them early on. But in comes, of course, the Pokemon that we want to face with our lead, but not with our Poliwrath. It's going to be the Manhunt of the opponent. We can at least still get some damage onto them and the debuff before they can do anything. But honestly, maybe I don't really play this ideally, I don't know, but I can go for an Icy Wind here. What I should definitely do next is go into my Jellicent when my Pokemon goes down, because Jellicent is so bulky, it can take any kind of hit, and yes, I do this, which is at least great here. I think there is a battle where I didn't do this, but Water Pulse especially is going to be quite resisted, and here I make a little bit of a mistake. What we're going to see here is that I thought that the opponent had already used some energy, which they didn't, and with this we're going to be in a position where they're going to be able to, get another move off, and now we are 2 shields down against the opponent. I go for the blind mirror shot, which in this case is a little bit silly because they're gonna go into the Jellicent, but we're still gonna get the shield here, and getting the shield is important because now we can overfarm by quite a bit to go up to 2 wild charges, and luckily we're able to get both of them off here right back to back, and this is going to basically seal the deal. We can win this battle here. Good game to the opponent. Fairly certain I have him on my friend list as well, so yeah, good game there. Next opponent, also one of more like known battle, I think, at least if you're on Twitter. We're going to see here the Poliwrath in the lead against us, which is of course a horrible matchup. I kind of want to sub out straight away. Actually, I didn't want to go for the extra fast move, but it is what it is. The opponent subs out now into the Lantern, which is going to be a little bit of a trickier one. We can go for the Dynamic Punch though, which is going to be kind of great, as this is doing some nice damage against them. We can go for another move, and I'm fairly certain the opponent is going to be forced to go at least for a Surf against us in order to knock us out. But they are going to go for the full farm down here, which does not work out. They are going to go down at the same pace as we are going to go down, and so they have a shield advantage, and we have to see what they have in the back, and it's going to be one of the worst possible Pokemon I could have encountered. If I went into my Magnezone, maybe I still had a chance there, but even then, I doubt it, to be fair. Power Whip is going to do quite a lot of damage, and with this, we can just say goodbye there. Nothing I can do, like they literally had a hard counter team against us. Speaking of hard counter, we're going to have the best matchup for our Magnezone here in the lead. They swap onto the Credeli. You could go for the mirror shot there, which would do super effective damage, but I'd rather decide to swap out straight away into our Poliwrath. Cool thing here is we can go for the Icy Wind, which is going to drop the opponent's attack, and this might allow us to survive a move a little bit better, which is definitely not the case without the debuff. So let's see, can we take a hit here? We are gonna let the move go through. It's going to be a Grass Knot. I'm not too sure about it, but yes, we can take the hit. And with this, we can go for the full farm down, allowing us to align ourselves. They're very likely going to go straight back into that Skarmory, because they know they don't really have any play with the Skarmory against our team. I find it quite weird to encounter a Skarmory in general here, but it is what it is. We're going to be able to swap back out into the Magnezone, and as I stayed in, I was expecting them to be double weak to this Pokemon, and so I decided to use a shield here onto that Brave Bird. They are going to have actually the Ferrothorn in the back, and that is not ideal. I'm forced to go for the bait first and try to get some debuffs onto them, which does work out at least here, because if I go for a Wild Charge and then the opponent goes for their own charge move, it is going to be quite tricky because we just cannot take them. But luckily we were we're able now to get 2 debuffs onto the opponent, allowing us to go for the Wild Charge. Now, if they decide to use a shield, fine by me, because then I can swap out and I can still take a hit from the opponent onto my Jellicent here, because we got the 9% chance of getting 2 back-to-back debuffs onto us, onto the opponent, which is going to be great here, because now we will be able to take the move. But sadly, they're gonna swap out here into the Skarmory. Great play by them. I maybe could have actually zero bubbled as well, but I didn't know how much energy, how much health I still had left. And so now we have to hope they can still somehow get to that Wild Charge here, which we can. And so this is going to be a good game there. Game over for the opponent, and we can move on to the next opponent. Let's see what they're going to run. They're going to run the Ferrothorn Elite, which is going to be, generally speaking, I think a more positive matchup actually for us. But it is a little bit of a trickier one, and I honestly don't think I play this right here either. Like timing-wise, it's perfect. But also it is better for us to wait until the opponent throws, because at the end of the day, they kind of really want to not take a hit from them after we got debuffed. But it is what it is. We're gonna get the attack drop actually against the opponent, which is kind of nice, and still sneak in an extra fast move. I can swap out here as well into my Poliwrath, use a shield now. The opponent used the shield already, and so we are gonna just get some extra energy. They go into the Mantine, and I think I misplayed this one a bit. I can go for the Ice Wind. All fine, all good, totally fine. Like, they're gonna go for the area is now anyway, that's around like 50% health. They can try to go for a full farm down. We saw that all before, and I swapped then into my Jellicent, which again, I should have done here, because oh, look at this, we're gonna get another Ice Wind off, making them basically useless in terms of the damage output that they do. And honestly, we have a little bit of energy left still on the Magnezone, but I rather decide to go into my own Magnezone here to sacrifice it, which doesn't make any sense at all. And now it's down, just literally down to the Jellicent. And let's take a look just here for science how much a double debuffed aerial ace is going to do. Nothing. Like, I should have just stayed in there. And look at this in the back, it's going to be the Jellicent as well. Like, if I still had my Magnezone around, I would have been able to go for that big Wild Charge here for sure. But luckily, I got the bait correctly, or like the call correctly here to not go for the bait. As the Shadow Ball is going to be able to land. They survive with 1 HP again here. Go for the Surf Bait, which doesn't make sense because they had a Shadow Ball stored. But we can go for the full farm down against the Ferrothorn. And with this, we're going to have enough health here as well to go for a double Surf against the opponent's Mantine to win this battle. Good game there. Jellicent coming in clutch, getting the triple sweep there against the opponent, and we can move on to the next one. So let's see what they're going to have. We're going to have the Swampert here in the lead. We can swap out into our Poliwrath and get out the Skarmory. And you might think, oh, that's going to be a little bit of a trickier matchup. No, it is not. We're going to be able to always realign ourselves. And as we're going to encounter a ground type Pokemon in the lead, we need to realign ourselves. Like, we cannot allow the opponent to keep the Swampert against our Magnezone, or we're going to be screwed. And so I decided to use a shield here, and I was thinking, I should be able to go for the full farm down. And yes, I can go for the full farm down, allowing us here as well to now hopefully go for that Icy Wind, go for the Dynamic Punch afterwards. Let's find out what the opponent is going to do here. We're going to see the shield coming up, attack is going to drop, a Dynamic Punch is going to go ahead and gonna hit them hard as well, but we're gonna see another shield coming up. And now we're in a position where our Magnezone is all of a sudden shield up. They're forced to go for an Earthquake here, and we can go into our Jellicent, forcing out the final Pokemon, and with that shield advantage, we should be kinda fine. As we're going to be able to outspeed the opponent, Wild Charge is going to land here and gonna do a tremendous amount of damage, which we are gonna let go through here the opponent's move, which is going to be actually the Zap Cannon bait for whatever reason, which is going to be fine because like this, we should be able to just go for that Surf, knock them out, and like, what is the Swampert supposed to do? We have a shield advantage, the opponent is low, we just need to hit one Surf against them, we can use a shield here, it does not matter, even if they go for the Earthquake here and they land, it does not knock me out, and so this game is over. Goodbye there. Next opponent, let's see what we're going to have here. We're going to have the Magnezone against the Poliwrath. Swapping out straight away here with our Pokemon, we're going to see the Poliwrath is not going to have the greatest time. The opponent goes for a charge move. I'm going to call it's going to be the bait, and it was the bait, which is going to be quite nice because now we can go for a double Dynamic Punch against the opponent. Double Dynamic Punch power. Let's see if this is going to work out for us. First one coming through, gonna get them low. Can we get another one off? Yes, we can. And so the opponent is going to be now at a very low health range, which is going to be great for our Pokemon in the back. The, what's called? Forgot the name. The Jellicent, of course, the Jellicent, the jellyfish here is going to now enjoy that we got rid of one of the hardest answers to it. Issue here is we have to use a shield, and we're also kind of low, and we're also going to be forced to swap out straight away, as the opponent is going to have that double grass type, double water type. They're going to have a Reggie's here in the back, and basically this game is over. Like, this is a hard hit wall, there's nothing I can do about it, they can just forfeit here. I was hoping that he would use a shield or whatever, but they didn't. Next opponent, horrible lead force again. Honestly, I did not have great leads at all, but I still came back against a lot of them. And look at this here. This is kind of what I mean as well, what I said before. Dynamic Punch is going to change up the matchup quite a bit. In the Open Great League, you would usually at least not run Dynamic Punch on your Poliwrath, but in this meta, Dynamic Punch is going to be the way to go. Surf is coming through, and as you can see here, we can go for another Icy Wind to try to get the debuff onto them, try to get the knockout against them. We're gonna be able to use a shield here against the Surf that's coming in. I know it's Surf, but I need to get the alignment here. After losing a lead so hard, I need alignment against the opponent, and they decided to now go back into that Lucario, allowing us now to align our gels, and that even here the hex damage is adding up. Lucario is a squishy boy, we can use a shield against the opponent. It is going to be sadly the Thunder Punch. I was expecting a Shadow Ball, but at least the Surf is going to be able to force a shield from them. My plan here is now to try to catch a Thunder Punch and maybe even sneak through a Volt Switch with my Magnezone, but it doesn't work out, and they have 2 hard answers to our lead, and again, this is just a team com loss. There's nothing I can do about it. This is something where I definitely did not misplay, but it is what it is. We're going to let the move go through. In comes again here, of course, another Mud Bomb. Or Awkward Tail, let's see. It's going to be the Mud Bomb. Actually, they're running Awkward Tail Mud Bomb, I think it was. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, the opponent's going to be able to win this battle. It is what it is. We can move on to the next one there afterwards, because what are we supposed to do here? One Shadow Ball is easily enough to knock us out. Good game there. Nothing I can do. Like, literally just getting walled. Second to last battle, actually favorable lead for us. We're gonna see the Lantern against us as a swap out into the Escavalier, allowing us to swap into our Jellicent. Jellicent can go for a Surf. I was thinking Surf might be actually enough in this kind of Elo range, or like not Elo range, in this kind of CP range to knock them out. I am more used to Escavalier in the Orb Mold League, I have to say, so I'm like thinking that this boy is a little bit squishier here now, of course, because it's a Great League. I was definitely right with it, but Shadow Ball would have been the better play. Like, Shadow Ball would have definitely been the better play to go for. I can still try my best and go for another Shadow Ball here. This is going to be able to get some shields actually against the opponent, which is cool. And I can go back into my Magnezone. I can try my best. I could let the move go through, but I'd rather use a shield here against them. As I go for the Surf, they decide to stay in for a little bit and go for another Surf. This is going to be a very scary thing here for us, because we have to hope there's something in the back that we can deal with. It's going to be the Ferrothorn, and what we are forced to do here is we are going to be forced to go for one Icy Wind against them and try to get that debuff and also some damage or the shield against them. We actually can overfarm up to the Dynamic Punch, which is going to be important because now the opponent decides to use a shield and it's down to our Magnezone. I should be able to get to another charge move against that Lantern in time here, and I will be able to do so, and so Magnezone is going to show its power again, going to be able to hit that big wild charge and win us this battle. Next opponent, we're going to encounter here a great lead for us. Let's see what they're going to swap onto. It's going to swap into the Berserker, and this should allow us to align ourselves, and I guess this was actually one of the worst possible games I ever played. Honestly, I think this was kind of embarrassing. So let's take a look at how I can embarrass myself in today's battle here. We're going to see that we are going to be quite low, which is lovely. I could go for one more fast move minimum against the... oh, wait, it's going to be a Lantern. It's not going to be the Pokemon I expect. And I think the Lantern kind of caught me a little bit off guard here, which it should have not, but it is what it is. Here, there's no reason to bait. There is literally zero reason to bait. I try to go for the bait here. I don't know why. I can't let the move go through. Magnezone should be able to win the battle here, right? Why do I go for Surf? Like, literally, there is zero play. We have 2 water types against us. Why do I go for Surf? Like, this is such a silly play. If they catch the move there with the Shadow Ball, I would have been able to farm them down, and I had a great time then. Like, I don't know what I did there. And yeah, trying to add on to trying to screw myself over with a battle here, I decided to go for the Mirror Shot bait. And there's no real reason to me to go for the Mirror Shot bait. It was kind of an obvious one there anyway. But of course the opponent still has 2 shields. And of course I'm going to have to be forcing myself to go for the Mirror Shot baits now, get the shield here from the opponent. Like, it's still so silly because now they know this is definitely going to be a Mirror Shot. I tried to just get the debuff, which I'm finally going to be able to get, but of course I can now go for the full farm done. Like, out of all the possible options here to misplay this final battle, I did everything. It is what it is. Like, it doesn't really matter. I'm legend already. Like, I don't really have to prove anything to anyone, but those battles happened to me as well. Honestly, it is what it is. We can move on to the end of the video. This can be it for this one. Hopefully you still enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and also let me know in the comment section what you want to see next for either Ultra League or the Fossil Cup. And if you have some interesting battles yourself, feel free to send them in with a link in the description. I'll see you then. Bye bye.